It's both official and is finally here. The Arknights collaboration with Monster Hunter is finally making its way to the worldwide version of the game, since it originally launched in the Japanese and Asian markets version of the game about 6 months ago or so. Arknights is an extremely popular mobile game with gacha mechanics that has kind of captivated and grown a very vivid and active audience in the mobile gacha market. And one of the things that definitely crossed my field of view was the fact that there was a brand new collaboration a while back announced for the Asian markets of the game about 6 months ago or so. Since then, the worldwide release kind of had been pending, and finally players here in North America and in Europe were able to get their hands on it within the past few days. Alongside that, not only did they see a bunch of brand new story segments as a brand new side story side event called A Flurry to the Flame, which became live just within the past few days. Also, brand new operators became active, some of which are Monster Hunter adjacent. Of course, we have the Terra Research Commission, which of course is just 3 palicos stacked on top of each other. Really cutesy characters that are pretty much kind of like an addition to the lore here that players are going to be able to stack. You also have the Rathalos Noir Corn and Rathalos S Armor Noir Corn character, which of course is donning a Rathalos armor set with of course the introduction of Rathalos as well. Really popular character, getting a whole heck of a lot of love, but nowhere close to Karenar's Yato. She's making an official return into Arknights, and players have been kind of going hog wild with finally being able to see her in this game, being able to don her new skills, new armor sets, and all of that. So these operators are getting a lot of attention. Not only that, of course, like I mentioned before, there's also story elements as well being added in that are gonna give a little bit of players something of a more reason to continue keep going back, which again, mobile games seemingly do a very good job at that. But this entire event doesn't necessarily end there, since there's a brand new 2023 new series of individual designed style outfits for certain characters as well that you get to see. Yukibare gets a brand new outfit as a new production set. Tsukiyoi gets another one, and I believe the last one is Betsushi as well. I should be able to see some of those videos as those characters get in there. Lastly, I believe the Terra Research Commission also gets a brand new outfit as well, and that is the Fly into the Streets kind of outfits. The 3 palicos are decked out in kind of like streetwear as well, so that one should be getting some love as well. At the same time, Pokamza, Tuginogi, Snowsant, Acid Drop, and a few other operators are getting some love as well, which is, you know, new outfits and stuff like that. So that's pretty interesting nonetheless. Of course, for Monster Hunter fans who have not necessarily tried out Arknights before, this limited time event should be able to give you plenty of a reason to be able to kind of decide to join in and see what this game is all about. Obviously, people wouldn't be playing it if it wasn't popular or if it wasn't necessarily good to begin with. Obviously, the fact that Capcom decided to do this collaboration with Arknights is proof enough that the game is fun enough as it is, and players are more than excited to be able to get their hands on it. There is a couple of really interesting operator overviews over at gamepress.gg. I'm going to be leaving a link in the description below so you can actually get a better understanding as to who these brand new 2 operators are. Of course, Yato and Noir. When it comes to Yato, though, they mentioned that Yato, who was previously being smartly dressed and permanently masked, is trying on a whole new style inspired by Monster Hunter. While her 2-star version is classified as Vanguard, she has always been more akin to a fast redeploy unit. With her reduced redeployment time and lower stats, Kirin Yato is finally embracing the archetype she was always meant to be as a limited 6-star executor specialist. who sports a bonus arts damage, multi-hitting set of attacks, and invincible dash attacks, unlike anything seen in Arknights before. Kieran's Yato's talents are simple damage increases, and they're very effective at their job. Her E0 talent, Kieran Bolt, adds bonus arts damage to each one of her hits that she delivers, as her E2 Archdemon mode gives her a bonus attack during her skill sets and for several seconds after her skills end. Rest assured that even without the Archdemon mode, Kieran Yato's skills will still be a force to reckon with, and her S2 Blade Dance, which boosts the damage from Kieran Bolts and unleashes a ludicrous numbers of hits and tiles directly in front of her, with a risky caveat of increasing her taunt level for a specific duration. What you've probably seen in the exhibition videos is her Heavenly Blade Dance, or an S3. However, the skill that causes Yato to dash through multiple tiles and dash longer than more enemies that she hits, while dropping out of powerful AoE strikes along the way, hitting the ground and air enemies alike. On top of all this, Yato is practically invisible during Heavenly Blade Dance, allowing her to pursue enemies and rack up nuclear amounts of damage from a completely safe area. Though you wouldn't believe it on first glance, Kieran Yato does have some weaknesses that hold her back from a complete godhood. As fast redeploy, she has mediocre base stats and is unable to reactivate her skills after being deployed, which limits her in long-term staying power in a specific fight. The regular Blade Dance comes with aggro increase and can result in Yato getting ganked before she can finish her first hits, and learning how to use Heavenly Blade Dance correctly can also be very tricky for certain users, and highly positioning base character as well. She is worth the effort unconsiderably, yes. Between her range, her damage output, and temporary invisibility, Kieran Yato is hard to beat. Then the other developer operator overview that GamePress.gg has for Norkhorn mentions that he's donned the Rathalos as armor set as part of the Monster Hunter collaboration event, an event which required taking off the mask. The mask he's always been wearing, in order to replace it with the Rathalos as mask. Much to the surprise of his fellow operators, Norkhorn has no problem taking off his mask and showing now his ordinary face underneath. A particularly enterprising operator dared to ask if Norkhorn doesn't want to keep his face a secret. Why does he always wear a mask? Norkhorn replied, "This is a secret." We can't explain why Norkhorn's wearing a mask habits, but we can explain his fighting style in the Rathalos S armor, which has transformed him from a 2-star defender to a limited 5-star Musha guard, who can negate attacks, build up attack stat buffs, and can convert into more hits. His tenacious talent is part of the course as far as Musha guards, a talent that has a bonus ASPD and tenacity as his life HP falls, and this fits nicely with the Musha guard trait of recovering HP every time they attack rather than being healed in other units. The ASPD helps him into attacking faster, while the tenacity helps him resume attacking rather than dying if he gets stunned by the enemy and can heal himself. There are other interesting interactions with his second talent, Spirit Gauge. On his own, the talent is simple. Noir can gain stacking attack buff up to a certain cap by stacking and attacking while the skill is not active. While interesting part is how the talent interacts with his skills. His S1 ES Spirit Slash is a defensive skill that causes Norkhorn to stop attacking and assume a counter stance dance. When attacked, he negates his hits, gains immediate attack Spirit Gauge, and counters by inflicting multiple hits on nearby enemies. Notably, if Norkhorn defeats an enemy with this skill, it is automatically reactivated, potentially allowing him to defend several attacks in a row. His S2 Spirit Helm Breaker is a simpler, much more aggressive. It consumes 1 charge of Spirit Gauge and inflicts several strong hits on nearby enemies. Since both skills inflict multiple hits, they repeatedly trigger the Musha trait, resulting in some bursty self-sustain that can help Norkhorn alive in a bad situation. However, it is unfortunate that Norkhorn must be picking between 2 skills, as he feels somewhat incomplete with just one. The Musha Guard archetype is being held back by a block -1, high DP cost, and the inability to be directly healed by allies, so his operators need a lot of damage and survivability to stand out. Norncorn has the potential for both, but because he has to pick between one and the other, he never gets to take full advantage of his kit. His interactions with Spirit Gauge feel especially odd since he can get special extra stacks to use as a stacks resource, but not both. His skills are strong enough individually and they can pull his weight, but it's not strong enough to compensate for the Mushagar drawbacks, which must be compensated if he's going to stand out on the battlefield. I love these kind of like character overviews, specifically since they teach for those new players who may not necessarily know what to expect for each one of these operators, a little bit of an expert eagle's eye, if you will. You get a little bit of a description of what to expect for each one of your new operator skills, but more importantly, how they compare with other experienced players. Huge shout out to GamePress.gg for this information, link in the description below for that. And I'm very excited to see how players are going to be interacting, not just learning more about Monster Hunter since new operators are being drawn in to Arknights just in the next few days. If you're brand new to my channel though, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.